everybody. So this week has been so much fun. It's been kind of vintage movie week for me. And it started on Tuesday where I saw My Fair Lady in its 50th anniversary restored edition. And it was such a delight. I had the whole thing, even with the intermission and everything, it ended up being 3 hours long. And to me, it felt like an hour and a half. It's been a while since I'd seen it. And honestly, I liked it even more than I remembered. My Fair Lady is an adaptation of the Lerner and Loewe Broadway musical, which, of course, the original musical had Julie Andrews as Eliza Doolittle. And there was a lot of controversy at the time because they had cast Audrey Hepburn as opposed to Julie Andrews in the role. And I love Julie Andrews so much. And I think she probably would have been a little bit of a better choice, but I also just love Audrey Hepburn. And I totally see why they picked Audrey Hepburn because she was a huge star at the time. And she also was somebody who had played a princess before. So the idea of sort of her becoming basically a princess by the end of the film, it was something you could really believe. And Rex Harrison was famous for having played the role of Henry Higgins on Broadway, and you can get that sense of a Broadway veteran in his performance as he does sort of this speech singing thing. His music was performed live, and there's really no other way to do those songs because of the way that he's talking and then singing and talking and singing. And so that's really great, and they do such a great job with sound editing in this film, the sound mixing, sound editing. So we know that Audrey Hepburn's voice was dubbed by Marni Nixon, and Marni Nixon she's still alive, is an amazing talent. I mean, it's hard to believe that the same voice is the singer for My Fair Lady and for West Side Story and for The King and I. She's just incredible what she does. And so the fact they were able to mix so seamlessly with the live recording of Harrison with the dubbed recording of Nixon and make it all work and is pretty remarkable, I think. And of course, the songs are the true standout of this movie. They are just such a delight. I came out of the theater and I was just in this parking lot, and parking lots have like amazing acoustics if you didn't know. And I'm just singing my heart out. It made me want to sing, and I don't think there's the only songs that I really don't like are the songs by Eliza's father, because I just think he's kind of a ne'er-do-well, but not really in a charming way for me. And I think his songs run a little long, and they're just not my favorite. But Stanley Holloway, who plays Eliza Doolittle's father, does a good job with the role, and he has a lot of energy into it, but it's just not my favorite character, and I think we get a little too much of him. But other than that, I think that they are such charming, funny, lovely songs. I think the way that, like I said, they integrate the speech singing in such a seamless way is really brilliant, and the way that they include sort of the exposition but also make it funny. You don't feel like you're hearing exposition. And it's a pretty simple story in the end. It's kind of we've seen it a lot of times. It's sort of a take on the Taming of the Shrew sort of story, and the idea of Henry Higgins training Eliza Doolittle on how to speak properly so that she can get a job as a florist girl. And the thing that's cool is that Higgins is a pig, but I think the movie knows he's a pig, and to me he's a lot like a Sherlock Holmes or a Sheldon Cooper, sort of these characters that are sort of innocently pigs. Like they just think that the way that they do things is the right way and everybody else should just listen because then they would be happier. It's not like something that they're doing because they're meaning to be necessarily a pig. They're just geniuses and they don't understand, and they're terrible listeners. But I don't know. It's something in a way that's not off-putting to me. I can see why it might be. There's a ton of charm to the performance of Rex Harrison. I think that goes a long way in sort of selling the character. And, he never feels like it's never mean-spirited, in my opinion, even though he totally is a pig. But highlights, I Could Have Danced All Night, The Rain in Spain. Of course, you have the amazing Cecil Beaton costumes and art direction. I think the like scenes like the Ascot scene is, as far as costuming, is one of the best ever in Hollywood history. And the, like I said, the art direction, you can look back and see like just this whole scope of all these people dressed up, and you see, of course, Eliza Doolittle with her red flower. She's the only one with the red flower in her hair. And just the attention to detail throughout by George Cukor and his team was remarkable. You know, everything from the wallpaper to the hats that the women wore were amazing works of art. All together, like everyone's top-notch talent, and it won, I think, more Oscars than any other film has in history. I think it won 8. And so all this top-notch talent, everyone trying their hardest to making a great film, I think in this case really did make a great film, and it was a total delight to watch. And so if you haven't seen My Fair Lady in a long time, it's going to come, this version that I saw, this restored version, is going to be available on Blu-ray in a couple of weeks, and I highly recommend getting it and taking a look at the wonderful Broadway and musical classic of My Fair Lady. So thanks so much, and let me know what you think of My Fair Lady. Do you like it? Where does My Fair Lady rank on the musical list for you? I love it so much. I have a My Fair Lady poster in my living room. So there you go. So put in the comment section, let me know, and please subscribe to my channel. I'll talk to you later. Bye.